heat or cold for an injury? It sounds like such a simple question, right? But if you pick the wrong one, you could actually be slowing down your recovery or maybe even making things worse. So today we are going to make sure you always know the right choice. Let's get into it. So picture this. You're out for a run and suddenly you twist your ankle. Or maybe it's that nagging stiffness in your lower back after sitting at a desk all day. In that moment of pain, you've got a choice to make, don't you? Ice pack or heating pad? That's the exact decision we're breaking down, so you'll always know what your body is asking for. Okay, first things first. Let's cover the basics. Heat and cold therapy actually have official names, and they tell us a whole lot about how they work. It's time to meet our two contenders. First up in the ring, we've got thermotherapy. Now that's just the fancy scientific term for what we all know as heat therapy. The idea here is really simple. You apply warmth to the body to raise the temperature of the tissues, and the main goal? It's all about getting the blood flowing. And in the other corner, we have cryotherapy. This is the clinical name for cold therapy. And as you can probably guess, its mission is the complete opposite of thermotherapy. By applying cold, we lower the tissue temperature to do something just as important: reduce that blood flow. All right, let's kick things off with team heat. What is really happening when you place that warm compress on a sore muscle? Let's take a closer look. Okay. So think of your blood vessels as the highways of your body. Heat's superpower is basically to act like a traffic controller that opens up all the lanes. This process is called vasodilation, and it just means widening the vessels to get blood moving freely and quickly to that specific area. So why would you want to open up these highways? Well, all that increased blood flow rushes more oxygen and nutrients to the area, which helps relax tight muscles and relieve that nagging pain. It's fantastic for chronic stuff, like joint stiffness from arthritis, and it helps speed up the healing of older injuries. It can even help clear up infections by bringing more circulation to the site. And hey, it's also worth knowing that not all heat is created equal. Dry heat from an electric heating pad is super convenient, but moist heat, like from a damp towel, often gets deeper into the muscle, which can make it more effective. Just remember, you have to be extra careful with moist heat to avoid burns. And now for Team Cold. So, if heat is all about opening things up and speeding up the flow, well, you guessed it, cold is the exact opposite. It's about slowing things down and getting a crisis under control. Let's go back to our highway analogy. Imagine there's been a crash, an acute injury like a sprain. You don't want more traffic rushing to the scene, you want to control the chaos. Cold superpower is something called vasoconstriction. It's like calling in traffic control to narrow the road and reduce the flow of blood to the area. So why on earth would we want to restrict blood flow? Well, when you have a brand new injury, your body's first response is inflammation and swelling. Cold is your first responder. It calms down that swelling, helps control any internal bleeding, and it numbs the nerve endings, which gives you that immediate pain relief. It's your absolute go-to for the first 48 hours of an injury. Okay, so we've met the contenders. We know their superpowers. Now it's time for the main event, the head-to-head showdown. This is where you'll really get a handle on how to choose the right one at the right time. If you remember only one thing from this whole explainer, please make it this: heat dilates or widens blood vessels, cold constricts or narrows them. This single physiological difference right here is the key to absolutely everything else. Let's break this down. Heat dilates vessels, increasing blood flow. Cold constricts them, decreasing it. Now, you'll see both can relieve pain, but here is the critical difference. Heat can actually increase swelling, which makes it exactly the wrong choice for a fresh injury. The bottom line is really simple. Use heat for that chronic, ongoing pain and stiffness, and use cold for a new, acute injury. Now that we know what to use and when, we have to talk about how. Using heat or cold seems pretty straightforward, but there are some absolutely non-negotiable safety rules you need to follow to avoid doing more harm than good. And here it is, the golden rule. Whether you're using a hot pack or an ice bag, you want to limit it to about 15 to 20 minutes at a time. Seriously, leaving it on for too long can damage your skin and the tissues underneath. So 20 minutes on, then give your skin a nice long break. Simple as that. And this is super important. You need to know when absolutely not to use heat. Don't apply it to a fresh injury. It'll just increase swelling and inflammation. You also want to avoid heat on areas with active bleeding, over any known tumors, or on anyone with impaired sensation who can't tell you if it's getting way too hot. And yep, cold has its own list of warnings. It should definitely be avoided by people with conditions like Raynaud's disease or a cold allergy, where it can cause a really severe reaction. Be super careful with open wounds and always use caution with the elderly and with infants because their skin is just so much more sensitive to extreme temperatures. So to make it really easy, just follow this simple checklist every single time. Think of it as before, during, and after. Before you start, check the skin. During the application, always put a towel between the pack and your skin and check on the skin every few minutes. And afterward, take a look at the area for any issues. This simple process is your key to staying safe. And this is why all those rules matter so much. Using these things improperly isn't just ineffective, it can be downright dangerous. You can cause serious burns with heat or frostbite with cold. In extreme cases, it can even lead to permanent damage to your skin, nerves, or tissues. Look, this isn't to scare you, it's just to really drive home how important it is to use these powerful tools the right way. So we come right back to our original question, sprained ankle or stiff back? Now you know the answer. Is your body dealing with a sudden crash that needs traffic control? You grab the ice. Or is it a chronic traffic jam that just needs all the lanes opened up? Well, then it's time for some heat. Knowing the difference really is the key to healing smarter.